Before the beginning, before the first breath of wind, before the first shimmer of starlight, there was darkness. Not a frightening darkness, but a deep, peaceful darkness, like the space between dreams. The land lay sleeping, formless and still, wrapped in the gentle embrace of endless night. There was no sound here, no movement, only the profound silence of a world waiting to be born. And in this silence, in this vast emptiness, before time itself had learned to move forward, something ancient began to stir. Deep beneath the surface of the sleeping earth, where the rocks held memories that had not yet been remembered, the ancestral spirits began their slow awakening. They had been resting here since before, dreaming dreams that would become the world. And now, in this moment that was both the first moment and no moment at all, they felt the gentle call to rise, like the first stirring of consciousness after the deepest sleep. Like the softest breath returning to still lungs, the great spirits began to wake. There was no hurry in their awakening, for time had not yet been created. They moved with the slowness of continents, with the patience of stones. One by one, they opened eyes that had never seen light, for there was no light yet to see. They stretched limbs that had never known form, for form itself was still being imagined. And as they stirred in their deep places, the darkness itself seemed to hold its breath, waiting for what would come next. The earth trembled gently, not with fear but with anticipation, like a sleeper on the edge of waking, caught in that beautiful space between dream and morning. And you, listening now, you too can feel this ancient stirring, this gentle awakening. Let yourself sink back into that primordial darkness, that peaceful void where all things begin. Let yourself rest in the knowledge that even in emptiness, even in the deepest dark, there is presence, there is purpose, there is the quiet promise of creation waiting to unfold. From deep below, from chambers of earth older than memory, the first of the great spirits began to rise. Slowly, so slowly, they moved upward through layers of sleeping stone, through veins of minerals that had never seen sky, through the patient darkness of the deep earth. There was a reverence in their movement, a sacred gentleness, as if they knew that every motion now would matter, that every gesture would shape the world to come. And among these rising spirits, the greatest began to emerge, the Rainbow Serpent, ancient beyond ancient, whose very body contained all the colors that would one day paint the world. She had been coiled in the deepest places, wrapped around herself in eternal spirals, dreaming the dreams that would become rivers, that would become life itself. Now she slowly, gradually began to uncoil. Imagine the patience of this awakening, each scale shifting with the slowness of seasons, each muscle stretching with the deliberation of mountains forming. The Rainbow Serpent moved without haste, for she carried within her the blueprint of all waters, the memory of every stream that would ever flow. As she rose toward the surface of the still forming earth, the darkness around her began to shimmer ever so faintly with the promise of color, hints of gold and amber, whispers of cream and dusty blue, the gentlest suggestions of green and violet, all muted, all soft, all waiting for their moment to be born into fullness. The other ancestral beings accompanied her rising, the sky heroes, the earth mothers, the first creatures who were not yet creatures, but pure spirit in forms both fluid and constant. They moved through the darkness, like dreams moving through the mind of a sleeper, each one carrying their sacred purpose, each one knowing without knowing what they had come to do. And as they rose, the earth above them began to sense their coming. The formless land trembled with gentle anticipation. The darkness grew somehow warmer, somehow richer, like the darkness behind closed eyelids when you're drifting towards sleep, and you can feel the dreams approaching. You can rest here, in this moment of sacred emergence, this gentle rising. Feel yourself held in the patient unfolding of creation, where nothing is rushed, where everything happens in its perfect time. Let yourself float in this space between deep sleep and awakening. This liminal realm where the spirits move so slowly you can barely perceive their motion. Yet everything is changing. Everything is being born anew. And then, the Rainbow Serpent broke through to the surface of the formless land. She emerged into the darkness with a grace that seemed impossible for one so vast, so ancient. Her great head lifted, tasting for the first time the empty air that hung above the sleeping earth. And as she rose fully from the deep places, she paused, resting there in the void. Her endless body still partly submerged, partly emerged, connecting the deep below with the vast above. In this pause, in this sacred moment of stillness, she remembered the dreaming that had filled her long sleep. She remembered the vision of waters flowing, of life drinking, of the land shaped into beauty and purpose. And with this remembering, she began to move. The Rainbow Serpent began her first journey across the barren land, and with her very first movement, creation began in earnest. Where her belly touched the formless earth, she left an impression. Not a wound, but a gentle carving, a purposeful shaping. As she moved forward with her slow, undulating motion, that eternal serpent rhythm of curve and glide, the earth responded to her touch. Behind her, in the path she had travelled, a depression formed, smooth and deep, carved by her passage. This would become the first riverbed, though there was no water yet to fill it. Still, the shape was there now, the form was created, and form itself is a kind of promise. She moved onward, her great body flowing like water flows, though water itself had not yet learned this movement. She carved a long, meandering path across the darkness, never straight, always curving. For the Rainbow Serpent knew that the most beautiful and life-giving paths are never direct. They wind and curve, they bend back on themselves, they create pockets and pools and places where things can gather, can rest, can grow. As she travelled, her body sometimes swelled upward, arching high into the empty air. And where she arched, where her great weight came down again upon the earth, mountains began to form. Gentle mountains, not harsh or jagged, but rounded and ancient feeling from their very first moment, as if they understood that they would stand here for eons beyond counting. And where she burrowed slightly deeper, where her movement pressed more firmly into the yielding earth, valleys opened up, protected spaces, sheltered places, carved with intention and with love. The Rainbow Serpent moved in spirals and curves, in loops and coils, drawing across the face of the formless land the sacred patterns that would guide all creation to come. And as she moved, her scales caught light that did not yet exist, reflecting colours into the darkness, teaching the void itself about beauty, about variety, about the endless variations of form and hue that would soon fill the world. The Rainbow Serpent continued her sacred journey, and as she moved, time itself began to learn its rhythm. Not time as we know it now, measured and counted, but time as a slow unfurling, a patient revealing. Behind her, the land no longer lay formless. Now it held shape, held meaning. The carved paths of what would become rivers stretched across the darkness like veins of intention, like promises drawn in earth. The gentle mountains she had raised stood quiet and dignified, their slopes already knowing the shape of sky that would soon come to rest against them. And still she moved, the great Rainbow Serpent, her journey not yet complete. She circled back sometimes, crossing her own earlier paths, and where her path intersected with itself, sacred places formed. Places of power, places of gathering, places where the energy of creation concentrated and pooled. These would become the most important sites. The places where, in times to come, ceremony would be held, where stories would be told, where the memory of this first dreaming would be honoured and maintained. As she travelled, other ancestral spirits followed in her wake, each adding their own sacred work to the forming world. The sky heroes prepared to lift the heavens. The earth mothers readied the soil to receive life. The first creatures, still in spirit form, waited for their turn to take on flesh and fur, feather and scale. All of this happened in a silence that was not quite silence. For though there were no sounds as we understand them, there was a deep vibration, a resonance that moved through everything. It was the song of creation itself, not yet heard but deeply felt, a rhythm that pulsed through stone and spirit alike. And the Rainbow Serpent responded to this unheard song with her movement, her body becoming a visible expression of an invisible melody. Curve and glide, each motion a note, each path a phrase, each valley and mountain a verse in the growing symphony of the world. You can feel this rhythm now if you let yourself. In your own breathing, in the slow pulse of your heartbeat, in the gentle rise and fall of your chest, you carry this same primal rhythm. The same patient, purposeful movement that shaped the world is moving through you now, reminding your body of rest, of peace, of the deep satisfaction of simply being. Let yourself move with the Rainbow Serpent's ancient rhythm. Let each breath carve away tension as rivers carve through stone, slowly, gently, but with absolute certainty. Let each exhale carry you deeper into the landscape of rest, where the geography of sleep is being formed within you, shaped by these ancient patterns, guided by these timeless movements. And finally, after time that was both an instant and an eternity, the Rainbow Serpent completed the first phase of her sacred journey. She had carved the essential pathways, raised the foundational mountains, opened the first valleys. The land was no longer formless. It had geography now. It had structure. It had the beginning of beauty. The Rainbow Serpent came to rest at last, coiling herself gently around a place that would become sacred above all others. The first waterhole, the deepest pool, the source place where, when water finally came, it would gather and from which it would flow to fill all the carved riverbeds she had created. She settled herself into the earth, her great body making 3 complete spirals, her head resting gently on her own back, her eyes half closed in peaceful satisfaction. And as she rested, the colours of her scales seemed to dim slightly, not fading but softening, settling into the earth, teaching the very soil about colour, about variation, about beauty. The other ancestral spirits gathered around her resting place, surrounding her in a loose circle, and they too paused in their labours. Together, they looked out across what had been accomplished in this first awakening. The dark land was dark still, but it was no longer empty. It was pregnant with potential, carved with purpose, ready for the next stages of creation. And in this pause, in this moment of collective rest, a feeling of deep peace settled over everything. It was the peace of good work begun, of sacred duty honoured, of creation unfolding exactly as it should. You can feel this peace now, settling over you like the gentlest blanket, like the softest starlight. The first act of creation is complete, and now comes the time of rest before the next awakening. The Rainbow Serpent rests, coiled in her sacred place. The ancestral spirits rest, gathered in their circle of protection. And you too can rest now, your body carved into comfortable shapes by the same ancient forces that shaped mountains and valleys. Your breath flows like water, will one day flow through the carved riverbeds, naturally, without effort, following the path of least resistance toward deep, renewing rest. The darkness is no longer empty around you. It is filled with potential, with the presence of spirits benevolent and ancient, with the promise of more wonders to come. But for now, for this eternal now, there is only this, the peace of creation at rest, the satisfaction of the first great work completed, and the soft, patient darkness that holds everything in its gentle embrace. Rest now, as the Rainbow Serpent rests. Sleep now, as the earth sleeps between the great movements of creation. Let yourself be held by the same forces that hold mountains, that hold valleys, that hold the stars that are beginning to wake above. All is well, all is peaceful, all is exactly as it should be, in this moment between moments, in this space of sacred rest. And now, from this space of sacred stillness, from this moment between moments, you hear something arising. A sound so gentle it might be mistaken for silence itself. It is the first dreaming song, emerging from the lips of the ancestral beings who continue their sacred work across the sleeping land. The sound is ancient beyond measure, and yet new as the first breath of dawn. It hums through the earth beneath you, resonates in the stones, trembles softly in the air that has only just learned to be air. This is the song that shapes. This is the melody that gives form to the formless, purpose to the waiting clay of creation. Listen, though you need not strain to hear it. The song finds you. It has always been finding you. Each note carries within it the blueprint of a mountain, the memory of a river yet to flow, the whisper of creatures yet to walk. The ancestral beings move slowly across the land, and with each step, with each breath, with each syllable of their eternal songs, something new is born into being. A stone takes shape here, rounding itself to perfection over what might be an instant or might be an age. Time has no meaning yet, no boundaries, no urgency. There is only the song and the shaping, the dreaming and the becoming. You rest within this process, held safely as the world takes form around you. The beings sing, and a great eucalyptus tree rises slowly from the red earth, its silver-green leaves unfurling like gentle prayers toward a sky that is learning, moment by moment, what it means to hold space above the land. They sing again, and grasses spread across the plains in waves of gold and green, swaying though there is not yet any wind to move them. They sway to the music itself, to the dreaming songs that call them into existence. Each plant, each stone, each creature that begins to stir in the dreaming space is given not just form, but purpose. The beings sing intention into every created thing. This rock shall hold coolness for the lizard at midday. This tree shall offer shade and shelter. This waterhole shall remember the sky and reflect it back in stillness. Everything is connected by these songs, woven together in a tapestry of sound and meaning that spreads across the land like roots beneath the earth, invisible but essential, holding all things in sacred relationship. You can feel it now, perhaps, the way you too are woven into this dreaming, the way these ancient songs sing through your own being, connecting you to stone and star, to earth and sky, to everything that is and everything that ever was. Rest in this connection. Let the dreaming songs wash over you and through you, gentle as water, constant as breath, shaping you too into exactly what you are meant to be in this moment. There is no rushing, there is no urgency, there is only the eternal now of creation, unfolding note by patient note, dream by sacred dream. The ancestral beings continue their work, and now their attention turns upward toward the vast emptiness that hangs above the newly formed earth. For the sky is still pressed close, heavy and low, resting upon the mountains like a blanket not yet unfolded. There is no room for birds to fly, no space for clouds to drift, no distance for the eye to wander. And so the beings gather their strength, not the strength of force or struggle, but the strength of purpose, of gentle determination, of knowing what must be done. They place their hands, luminous and ancient, against the dome of the sky. They begin to sing a new song, a lifting song, a song of expansion and opening. And slowly, slowly, with infinite patience, they push upward. The sky resists at first, not from unwillingness, but simply from the weight of its own potential, the heaviness of all it will become. But the beings continue their song, continue their gentle, steady pressure, and you can almost hear the sound of separation, a soft sighing, a whisper of release as the sky begins to rise. Inch by impossible inch, the heavens lift. The mountains that were touching the sky now have space above them. The valleys fill with the possibility of light and air. The world exhales, expands, becomes more itself with each moment of this sacred lifting. You breathe with it, feeling your own chest rise and fall in rhythm with creation itself. As the sky lifts higher and higher, held now by invisible pillars of song and intention, the beings step back to admire their work. And in this newly opened space between earth and heaven, there is room now for something wondrous. The ancestors reach into the fabric of the sky itself, into the deep darkness that still fills the spaces between things, and they begin to gather light. Light that has been waiting since before time, patient and pure, ready for this moment. They gather it in their hands like water from a sacred spring, and they begin to place it, piece by piece, spark by spark, into the dome of the sky. Each spark becomes a star. Each star is positioned with care, with intention, with purpose. This one here shall guide travelers. That one there shall mark the turning of the seasons. These clustered together shall tell the story of the great kangaroo who leaped across the sky. Those scattered in a path shall show where the seven sisters danced. The beings work slowly, methodically, taking all the time that exists, which is to say, taking no time at all. For time is still a fluid thing, still a dream within the dreaming. You watch from your place of deep rest as the sky slowly, gradually fills with light. Point by point, star by star, the darkness is punctuated with luminous purpose. And each star that appears seems to anchor something in your own being, some point of peace, some marker of calm that says, you are held, you are seen, you are part of this vast and gentle unfolding. The beings sing as they work, and their songs become lullabies, become the music that the stars themselves will hum through all the ages to come. Let yourself drift on these melodies. Let yourself float in the space between earth and sky, held safely as the heavens are arranged above you in patterns of perfect, peaceful beauty. And now, with the sky lifted and the stars beginning to gleam like scattered seeds of light, the ancestral beings turn their attention to the greater lights, the ones that will govern the rhythm of all life to come. They reach deeper into the dreaming, into the place where the greatest powers sleep, waiting to be called forth. First comes the sun. It emerges slowly from the eastern edge of the world, not with the sudden brilliance you might expect, but with a gentle, gradual glow, like embers being breathed into flame. The beings sing to it, coaxing it upward with melodies of warmth and growing things, of life and light, and the long, golden hours of day. The sun responds to their song, rising with dignity and grace, taking its place in the sky with the solemnity of one who knows the responsibility it carries. It will warm the earth. It will call forth the plants from their seeds. It will mark the hours and the seasons, the time for planting and the time for harvest, the time for activity and the time for rest. But for now, in this first moment of its existence, the sun simply learns to be itself, learns the arc of its journey across the newly lifted sky. The ancestral beings guide it gently, showing it the path it will follow for all time, rising in the east, climbing to its zenith, descending in the west to rest. And as you watch this first, slow journey of the sun across the heavens, you feel your own rhythms being established, your own patterns of light and dark, of waking and sleeping, of activity and rest. You are being woven into the natural order of things, aligned with forces far greater and far more ancient than any worry, any thought, any small concern that might have troubled you before. The sun completes its first journey and slips below the western horizon, and as it does, the sky deepens into shades of purple and deep blue, and the beings call forth the second great light. The moon rises, pale and luminous, casting a softer, gentler glow across the land. If the sun is the voice that calls forth action, the moon is the whisper that invites reflection, rest, and dreams. The moon moves more slowly, more mysteriously than the sun, sometimes full and bright, sometimes a mere sliver of silver in the darkness. The beings sing to it of cycles and changes, of tides and transformations, of the hidden things that grow in darkness, of the dreams that come in night. The moon learns its path, sometimes crossing the sky in the sun's absence, sometimes sharing the heavens in the gentle hours of dawn and dusk. It learns to wax and wane, to fill and empty, to show that all things move in cycles, that nothing is permanent, that change itself is the only constant, and that this is not frightening, but comforting, natural, part of the great dreaming that holds all things in balance. You rest now in the knowledge of these cycles, in the rhythm of sun and moon, day and night, light and darkness. Each has its place, each has its purpose, and you too have your place in this grand design, held safely between the earth below and the heavens above, breathing in rhythm with the ancient songs that shaped the world and that shape you still, in this moment, into deeper and deeper peace. With the great lights now tracing their eternal paths across the sky, the ancestral beings turn their attention once more to the earth, to the smaller creations, the details that will fill the world with movement and purpose and life. They sing, and from the red earth and the golden grasses, creatures begin to emerge. First comes the kangaroo, bounding into existence with powerful legs made for crossing vast distances, for traveling the songlines that connect one sacred place to another. The beings sing the kangaroo into being, note by note, feature by feature, the strong tail for balance, the pouch for carrying the young, the large eyes for seeing in the soft light of dawn and dusk. The kangaroo takes its first leaps across the plain, and each place its feet touch becomes sacred, becomes part of its story, part of its dreaming. Then comes the emu, tall and curious, with feathers like the grasses themselves, built for walking the long distances between waterholes, for teaching about persistence and the journey. The beings sing, and the lizards appear, quick and sun-loving, finding homes in the rocks and the hollows of trees. They sing, and the great crocodile emerges in the rivers, carved by the Rainbow Serpent, ancient and patient, a keeper of waterways and boundaries. Each creature is given not just form, but character, purpose, a role in the great web of existence. The kookaburra receives its laughing call to herald the dawn. The dingo receives its howl to sing to the moon. The possum receives its gift for navigating the darkness. The wombat receives its strength for digging deep homes in the earth. Every animal, every bird, every creature that crawls or swims or flies is sung into being with the same care, the same attention, the same love that shaped the mountains and lifted the sky. And as each creature awakens to itself, it adds its own voice to the chorus of creation, its own unique sound to the symphony of the dreaming. The birds begin to call, the frogs begin to croak, the insects begin to hum. The land fills with sound and movement, with life in all its diverse and beautiful forms. But beneath the diversity, beneath the many shapes and sounds and purposes, there is unity. There is the single thread of the dreaming song that connects all things, that makes the kangaroo kin to the stone, the bird cousin to the star, the tree sibling to the river. Everything is related, everything is connected, everything belongs, and you too belong here in this space of creation and connection. You are kin to these ancient creatures, part of the same dreaming, shaped by the same songs. Let yourself feel this belonging, this connection that goes deeper than words, deeper than thought, all the way down to the place where your own being resonates with the frequency of creation itself. You are home. You have always been home. You are held in the same web of song and story that holds the kangaroo and the star, the river and the tree. Rest in this knowledge, rest in this belonging. Let the gentle sounds of the newly awakened world lull you deeper into peace, deeper into the dreaming, where all things are connected and all things are held in perfect, loving balance. And now, as the creatures settle into their new existence, as the birds find their first perches and the kangaroos find their first paths, the ancestral beings pause in their work to observe what they have created. The sun traces its golden arc across the sky. The moon waits patiently for its turn to rise. The stars hold their positions, steady and sure. The earth breathes with new life, plants swaying, animals moving, water flowing through the channels carved by the Rainbow Serpent. Everything is in its place. Everything has its purpose. Everything is held in the great dreaming that encompasses all of creation. The beings stand for a long moment, though moment is not quite the right word, for time here is still fluid, still dreamlike, still moving in cycles rather than lines. They stand in the eternal now, observing with satisfaction and peace. And then they begin to sing a new song, softer than the others, gentler, slower. This is not a song of creating or shaping, not a song of lifting or forming. This is a song of blessing. This is a song of completion. This is a lullaby for the newly born world. The song moves across the land like a soft wind, touching everything, blessing everything, reminding everything of its sacred nature, its connection to the dreaming, its place in the vast web of existence. The song touches the mountains, and they settle more deeply into their foundations, ancient and unshakable. The song touches the rivers, and they learn the music they will sing as they flow over stones for all the ages to come. The song touches the trees, and they understand that their roots go down into the dreaming itself, drawing sustenance from the same source that feeds the stars. The song touches the creatures, and they each carry away a piece of it, a melody they will pass on to their children and their children's children, a dreaming song that will never be forgotten. And the song touches you. It moves through you like breath, like light, like love itself. It reminds you that you too are blessed. You too are part of this sacred creation. You too are held in the dreaming, now and always. The song tells you that you can rest now, that the work of creation is done for this day, for this moment, that everything you need to be, you already are, that everything you need to know, you already know deep in the quiet places of your being. The ancestral beings continue their soft singing, and the newly created world begins to settle into its first true rest. The sun sinks low, painting the sky in shades of amber and rose. The stars grow brighter as the darkness deepens. The creatures find their sleeping places, the kangaroos in the shelter of the trees, the birds in their nests, the lizards in the warmth of the stones that still hold the memory of the sun. Everything that was sung into being now learns the complementary song of rest, of stillness, of returning to the dreaming in sleep, and you are invited to do the same. To let the last light of this first day wash over you in shades of gold and purple. To let the first stars of this first night watch over you with their ancient, gentle gaze. To let the lullaby of the ancestral beings carry you down into the deep, peaceful waters of sleep, where the dreaming continues, where creation never ceases, where you are always held, always safe, always home. The world has been shaped, the sky has been lifted, the stars have been placed, and now all of creation rests beneath them, breathing together in the sacred rhythm of the dreaming. And you rest with it, you breathe with it, you dream with it, in perfect peace. And in this sacred stillness, where the world breathes its first dreams beneath the newly placed stars, there is movement in the heavens. Soft, graceful, eternal movement. 7 sisters rise into the sky, their forms luminous and gentle, like moonlight given shape, like starlight given purpose. They are the 7 sisters, the Pleiades, and they have danced since the first moment of creation. And they dance still, their movements weaving through the fabric of night itself. Watch them now, as they begin their eternal journey across the darkness. See how they move together, never separate, never alone, always connected by invisible threads of love and kinship and ancient dreaming. Their dance is slow, so beautifully slow, each step deliberate and filled with meaning, each gesture a word in a story older than time. They glide across the vast canvas of the sky, leaving trails of soft light behind them, and the light fades gently, like breath on glass, like whispers in wind. One sister leads, her movements tender and careful, and the others follow, their steps matching hers perfectly, creating patterns that repeat and circle and return, always return to the beginning. This is the rhythm of forever, the heartbeat of the cosmos, and it sounds like a lullaby that has no end, only gentle repetition, only soft continuation. As they dance, their feet touch the earth below, even as they rise above it, for they exist in both places at once, in the dreaming, where all things are connected, where sky and earth are one. Where they step upon the land, their footprints create sacred marks, and from these marks, water begins to flow, clear and cool and eternal. These are the first waterholes, the places where life will gather, where creatures will drink, where stories will be told under the stars. Each waterhole holds the memory of a sister's touch. Each one reflects the constellation above, creating mirrors between earth and sky, between form and spirit. The sisters dance, and as they dance, they sing, their voices blending into one continuous melody that rises and falls like breathing, like waves upon an ancient shore. The song has no words, or perhaps it has only one word, repeated endlessly, the word that means home, the word that means together, the word that means forever. Listen to their singing as it drifts down from the heavens, soft as falling starlight, gentle as dew forming on leaves in the coolness before dawn. Their song becomes part of the wind, becomes part of the rustling of leaves that have not yet grown, becomes part of the silence between heartbeats. And the earth below responds to their music, responding in the only way it knows how, by creating, by forming, by dreaming new things into being. Where the sisters' shadows fall upon the land, sacred sights emerge from the sleeping earth. Rocks rise slowly, worn smooth by time that has not yet passed, marked with patterns that echo the patterns of the dance above. These are the places that will be remembered, the places where ceremony will be held, where stories will be told and retold, where the connection between earth and sky remains visible, tangible, real. The sisters move on, never stopping, for their dance must continue, must always continue. And as they travel, they create a path across the sky, a path made of light and memory and dreaming. This path is called the songline of the sisters, and it stretches from horizon to horizon, connecting everything it touches. Below, on the earth, this same path appears, invisible but known, felt in the bones of the land, remembered in the stones and the water and the red dust. Those who walk this path walk in the footsteps of the sisters, and they sing the sisters' song, keeping it alive, keeping the dance moving, keeping the story unfolding. And the rhythm of this walking, this singing, this dancing, is the rhythm of sleep itself, steady and slow and infinitely repeating, step and step and step and turn and step again. The same movements, over and over, but never tiresome, never dull, for each repetition is new, is fresh, is filled with the wonder of the first time and the comfort of the 1000th time. Night after night, the sisters dance, and the pattern of their movement becomes familiar, becomes known, becomes part of the rhythm of existence itself. The constellation turns slowly in the heavens, rising in the east, arcing across the vast dome of darkness, setting in the west, only to begin again, always begin again, in an endless cycle that mirrors all cycles, all turnings, all returns. And as you watch them, as you follow their gentle procession across the sky, you feel yourself becoming part of this rhythm, your own breathing matching the pace of their dance, your own heartbeat echoing the pulse of their eternal movement. In and out and in again. Rise and arc and set and rise again. There is no hurry in their dance, no urgency, no need to arrive anywhere, for they are always exactly where they need to be, always exactly when they need to be there. This is the gift they offer, the gift of eternal patience, of divine timing, of trust in the unfolding of all things. Below, in the quiet land, the waterholes they created catch the starlight in their still surfaces, holding it like precious memory, like dreams waiting to be dreamed. Animals that do not yet exist will come to these waters, will drink from them, will see their own reflections mingling with the reflection of the sisters above, and they will understand without words that they are part of something vast and beautiful and unending. The waters are cool and deep and perfectly calm, disturbed by nothing, reflecting everything. And in this reflection there is truth. The truth that above and below are the same, that the dance in the heavens is the dance on earth, that separation is an illusion and connection is the only reality. The sisters know this truth, have always known it, and their dance celebrates it, proclaims it, embodies it in every graceful turn, every gentle step. They move as one being with 7 forms, or perhaps as 7 beings sharing one heart, one dream, one eternal purpose. And so the dance continues, has always continued, will always continue, through seasons that have not yet been named, through years that stretch into eternities, through ages beyond counting. The 7 sisters never tire, for they are made of dream stuff, of story essence, of the pure energy of creation itself. They need no rest because they are rest. They are the peaceful rhythm that underlies all existence, the gentle constant that remains when everything else changes. Their dance is your lullaby tonight, and every night, whether you see them or not, whether you remember them or not. They are there, moving through the darkness, marking time with their eternal steps, singing the world into continued existence with their wordless song. And as you drift now, as you allow yourself to float on the current of their rhythm, you can feel the story repeating, circling back on itself, returning to familiar movements, familiar patterns. The first sister leads, the others follow. They move across the sky, they touch the earth, they create sacred places, they dance on. And again, the first sister leads, the others follow. They move across the sky, they touch the earth, they create sacred places, they dance on. Each repetition is slightly softer than the last, slightly slower, slightly more distant, as though the dance is receding gently into the peaceful depths of sleep, taking you with it, guiding you down into the soft darkness where all stories live, where all dreams wait patiently to be dreamed. The waterholes below are still now, perfectly still, their surfaces like dark mirrors reflecting not just the stars, but the silence between stars, the space between breaths, the pause between heartbeats. This is the space you are entering now, the gentle gap where sleep lives, where rest resides, where peace makes its eternal home. The sisters dance you there, their movements becoming slower, slower, so slow now that you can barely perceive the motion. Only the sense of it, the memory of it, the dream of movement, rather than movement itself. Dance and rest, and dance again. Step and pause, and step once more. The sisters move through their eternal pattern, and the pattern is a spiral, a gentle spiral that turns inward, downward, deeper into the soft heart of the dreaming where all stories sleep until they are needed again. And you spiral with them now, turning gently, descending softly, following the path of their dance into the quiet places, the still places, the places where nothing needs to be done, nothing needs to be said, nothing needs to be anything other than what it already is. The rhythm of their footsteps becomes the rhythm of your breathing. Slow, slower, slowest. Each breath a little deeper than the last, a little more peaceful, a little more complete. And in the spaces between breaths, you can hear their song, so faint now, so distant, like music from another world, another time, another dimension of existence altogether. But it's there, always there, a constant presence, a faithful companion, a lullaby that never ends because it needs no ending. The stars above witness the dance, and the earth below receives it, and you rest between them, held in the space where sky and land meet, where dreaming and waking dissolve into one another, where the seven sisters dance forever in the peaceful darkness, creating and recreating the world with every gentle step, every soft turn, every whispered note of their eternal song. They dance for you tonight. They have always danced for you. They will always dance for you. And you can rest now, deeply rest, completely rest, knowing that the dance continues, that the rhythm holds, that the story goes on, around and around, forever and ever, in the soft and sacred darkness of the dreaming, where the seven sisters dance among the stars, and where you are welcome, always welcome, to join them in their peaceful, eternal, celestial dance. Dancing, dancing, dancing into sleep, into dreams, into rest. And as the seven sisters continue their eternal dance among the stars, their footsteps have woven something miraculous into the fabric of the world. Invisible pathways of song and story that connect everything, every place, every being, every moment of creation. These are the song lines, the dreaming paths that flow like rivers of melody across the ancient land, invisible, yet as real as the earth beneath your feet, as constant as the stars above your head. Feel yourself beginning to drift along these sacred pathways now, your spirit light as a whisper, floating gently through the darkness, following the thread of an ancient song that has no beginning and no end, just a continuous flowing like breath, like waves upon a distant shore, like the slow turning of the seasons across the timeless landscape. The song lines move through mountains and across deserts. They ripple through forests and trace the edges of endless coastlines, connecting sacred site to sacred site in patterns that only the stars can fully see. And you are drifting along them now, effortlessly, peacefully, carried by currents of story that were sung into existence when the world was new. Each songline holds within it the memory of the ancestor who walked this way, who sang this particular song, who dreamed this specific dream into being. And all of these dreams are connected, woven together like the threads of an infinite tapestry, each color blending softly into the next, each pattern emerging naturally from the one before. You don't need to understand the complexity of it all. You need only to drift, to float, to let yourself be carried along these gentle paths of song and story, feeling how everything connects to everything else, how nothing is separate, how all of creation breathes together in one slow, peaceful rhythm. The song lines hum softly through the darkness, a barely audible melody that resonates in your bones, in your heart, in the deepest parts of your being where words cannot reach. And you are part of this song now. You have always been part of this song, woven into the dreaming paths since before time began. Let yourself drift deeper into this knowing, this feeling of connection, this sense of belonging to something vast and ancient and infinitely gentle. The song lines carry you, the dreaming paths embrace you, and you are safe here, held in the web of creation, resting in the spaces between the stars, floating on currents of song that will never cease, never end, only continue flowing through the darkness like threads of golden light, too subtle for waking eyes to see. But you can feel them now, in this place between sleeping and dreaming. You can sense the pathways all around you, through you, inviting you to rest deeper, to let go more completely, to trust in the ancient songs that connect everything, 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 in the soft and sacred darkness of the dreaming. Follow the song lines now to a place where ancient red rocks rise from the earth like the bones of the world itself, weathered and worn by countless ages, standing patient and still beneath the infinite stars. Each rock holds a story, a dreaming, a memory of the ancestor who rested here, who sang here, who left their essence in the stone itself. And if you listen very carefully, in the deep stillness of this night, you can almost hear the rocks whispering their stories to the darkness, soft and low and slow as the movement of continents, as patient as the wearing away of mountains grain by grain across the millennia. These are not urgent whispers. They are the slowest of slow tellings, stories that unfold across centuries, across ages, stories that have no need to hurry because time here moves differently. Time here is circular, not linear. Time here breathes in and out like the tide, like the seasons, like the great cycles of sleeping and waking that govern all existence. Rest against these ancient stones now. Let your back settle against rock that remembers the dreaming, that holds within its mineral depths the songs of creation itself. Feel how solid it is, how permanent, how utterly peaceful. These rocks have been here for so long that they have forgotten what it means to rush, to worry, to be anywhere other than exactly where they are. And in their presence, you too can forget. You too can simply be, existing in this moment that stretches out in all directions, this eternal now, where past and future dissolve into the soft darkness and only the present remains, only the gentle whisper of stones singing its dreaming into the star-filled night. The song lines flow through these rocks, around them, over them, connecting them to every other sacred place across the vast continent. Invisible threads of melody linking stone to stone, story to story, dream to dream. And you can feel these connections now, subtle vibrations in the rock against your back, a barely perceptible hum that resonates through your body, slowing your heartbeat, deepening your breath, inviting every part of you to settle more fully into this place of absolute peace. Each rock has witnessed so much, has seen the ancestral beings shape the world, has watched the stars wheel overhead through millions of nights just like this one, has felt the footsteps of countless dreamers who came before you to rest in this sacred place. And each rock remembers everything, holds everything gently in its ancient, patient embrace. You are held now in this same embrace, cradled by stone and story, surrounded by the soft whispers of the dreaming as it speaks through every surface, every texture, every subtle variation in the rock face. And these whispers are like a lullaby, repetitive and soothing, telling you that you are safe, you are home, you are exactly where you need to be, here, now, resting, releasing, letting the ancient rocks hold the weight of everything while you simply drift and dream and listen to the slow, slow stories that have no ending, only a gentle continuation into the peaceful darkness where all dreamings merge into one breath, one heartbeat, one eternal moment of perfect, tranquil rest. The song lines carry you onward now, drifting like a leaf on a gentle stream, floating effortlessly to where a sacred waterhole reflects the stars above. A perfect mirror of stillness in the vast landscape. Dark water so calm that it becomes difficult to tell where Earth ends and sky begins. The stars above and the stars below merge into one infinite field of gentle light. And you are suspended between them, floating in a space where up and down no longer have meaning, where everything simply is, existing in perfect, peaceful balance. The waterhole whispers its own dreaming to the night, a soft sound like distant rain, like the memory of rain, like the promise of rain yet to come. Water remembering where it has been and where it will go, the eternal cycle of cloud and rain and river and ocean and cloud again, around and around in a pattern that never tires, never ends, only continues its slow dance through the landscape, giving life, nurturing growth, reflecting beauty back to the stars that watch from above. Kneel beside this sacred water now, see your reflection merge with the stars. See how you too are part of this pattern, this cycle, this great turning wheel of existence that includes everything and excludes nothing. You belong here. You have always belonged here. You are woven into the dreaming of this place, as surely as the water is woven into the earth, as the stars are woven into the sky. Drink from these sacred waters if you wish. Let their coolness flow through you, washing away anything you no longer need, cleansing and renewing and preparing you for the deepest rest, the most profound peace. The water tastes of minerals and moonlight, of ancient rain and future storms, of the tears of the sky beings and the laughter of the earth, all mixed together in this one perfect sip of liquid stillness. The water holds memories, not just of days or years, but of ages. It remembers when this waterhole was first created, when the ancestor being stopped here to rest, to sing, to dream this place into existence. It remembers every creature that has ever come here to drink, every reflection that has ever rippled across its surface, every star that has ever looked down and seen itself mirrored in the dark water below. And now it holds your reflection too, your face merging with the cosmos, your image becoming part of the eternal dreaming of this sacred place. And in this way you are remembered, you are held, You are made part of the story that this waterhole will continue to whisper long after you have drifted on, long after you have merged so completely with sleep that you forget you ever had a separate existence at all. The songlines ripple outward from this waterhole like gentle waves, connecting it to every other waterhole across the vast landscape, creating a network of reflection and renewal, of stillness and sustenance. And you can sense these connections now. Feel how one waterhole sings to another across the desert, how their songs overlap and intertwine, creating harmonies that only the dreaming can fully hear. And you are hearing them now, in this space between waking and sleeping. These harmonies washing over you like waves of peace, like ripples of pure tranquility spreading outward from this center of perfect stillness, outward and outward and outward, carrying you deeper into rest, deeper into peace, deeper into the soft embrace of the dreaming, where the waters reflect the stars forever, and where you too are reflected, remembered, and held in the gentle mirror of creation's endless, peaceful song. Drifting onward along the songlines, you come now to a place where ancient trees stand like silent guardians of the dreaming, their branches reaching upward toward the stars, their roots reaching downward into the earth, connecting sky and ground in a slow embrace that has lasted for centuries, for thousands of years, for time beyond counting. Each tree holds its own story, its own particular dreaming, whispered through the rustle of leaves that move so gently in the night breeze you can barely hear them. A soft susurration like distant voices, speaking in a language older than words, older than sound itself, a language of growth and patience, of seasons turning and turning again, of standing still while the world changes around you, remaining rooted, remaining present, remaining at peace no matter what storms may come or go. Rest beneath these trees now. Lie down in the soft earth at their base. Feel the roots beneath you and the branches above you, and know that you are held between earth and sky, just as the tree is held, just as everything is held in the great web of creation. You are supported from below, sheltered from above, and all around you the songlines flow like rivers of starlight, connecting you to everything that has ever been and everything that will ever be. The trees have stood here for so long that they have become more dream than wood, more story than substance. They exist in that liminal space where the physical and the spiritual merge completely, where matter becomes melody, where form becomes song. And in their presence, you too begin to shift into that space, that place between, where your body becomes lighter, less solid, more like mist, like shadow, like the barely visible threads of the songlines themselves. Breathe with the trees now. Their breath is slower than yours, so slow you can barely perceive it. But if you match your rhythm to theirs, if you let your breathing become as slow and deep and patient as the breath of an ancient tree, you will find yourself sinking into a peace so profound that nothing can disturb it, nothing can break it, nothing can pull you away from this perfect, timeless rest. In and out, so slowly, so gently. Breathing with the rhythm of growth, the rhythm of roots extending deeper into darkness, of branches reaching higher toward light, of sap rising and falling with the seasons, of life continuing in its slow, unstoppable way, patient and purposeful, and completely, utterly at peace. The dreaming of these trees is about endurance, about remaining, about the deep satisfaction of being exactly what you are, where you are, for as long as the earth holds you in her embrace. And you can feel this dreaming seeping into you now, teaching you through sensation rather than words, showing you what it means to simply exist without striving, without reaching for anything beyond this moment, this breath, this soft darkness, cradling you beneath ancient branches that have sheltered countless dreamers before you, and will shelter countless dreamers yet to come. The songlines weave through the trees, around them, spiraling up their trunks and dancing through their branches, connecting tree to tree in a forest of song that spans the continent. And you are part of this forest now, rooted in the same earth, reaching for the same stars, breathing the same ancient rhythm that has sustained life in this place since the dreaming began. Let yourself merge with the trees. Let yourself become as still as they are, as patient as they are, as deeply, peacefully rooted in this moment as they are. Feel your boundaries softening, dissolving, until you are not separate from the trees, not separate from the earth, not separate from the stars or the songlines, or the great dreaming that holds everything in its gentle, infinite embrace. You are part of it all. You have always been part of it all. And in recognizing this, in surrendering to this truth, you find a rest so complete, so total, that it feels like coming home after a journey you didn't even know you were taking. Home to the dreaming. Home to the trees and the stars and the ancient songs that connect everything. Home to peace. Home to stillness. Home to the soft, eternal darkness where all stories rest. And now the songlines carry you to the quietest place of all. A place where all the paths converge, where all the stories meet, where every thread of the great dreaming weaves together into one infinite tapestry of connection and meaning and peace. This is the heart of the songlines, though it is not really a place at all. It is more a feeling, a knowing, a deep recognition that everything is connected, that every part of creation speaks to every other part in an endless conversation of being. The rocks speak to the water speaks to the trees speak to the stars speak to the earth, and the earth speaks to you. And you speak back, simply by being here, by breathing, by resting, by allowing yourself to be woven into the pattern that holds all things. Here in this place that is not a place, you can sense all the songlines at once. Not as separate paths, but as a unified field of gentle vibration, a humming in the fabric of existence itself, a resonance that fills the darkness with something that feels like love, like belonging, like the deepest possible acceptance. You are welcome here. You have always been welcome here. You will always be welcome here, no matter what you have done or left undone, no matter where you have wandered or how lost you may have felt. The songlines always lead back to this center, this home, this place of absolute peace. Rest here now in the convergence of all dreaming, feeling how every story you have ever heard tonight. The Rainbow Serpent carving the land, the ancestral beings singing creation into existence, the seven sisters dancing across the sky, the rocks and water and trees holding their sacred dreamings. All of these stories are one story, and that story is your story too. The story of consciousness awakening in the darkness, of spirit taking form, of the infinite expressing itself through the finite, again and again, in endless variation but always the same essential pattern, the pattern of creation, of connection, of return. The songlines pulse gently around you now, through you, as you, and you realize you are not traveling along them anymore. You are them. You are the song and the line and the dreaming itself, inseparable from the whole, held in the web of creation as one thread among infinite threads, each one necessary, each one sacred, each one singing its own unique note in the great chord of existence that sounds eternally in the darkness. And this understanding doesn't make you feel small or insignificant. Instead, it fills you with a peace beyond description, a sense of rightness, of perfect placement, of being exactly what you need to be, where you need to be, doing exactly what you need to do, which in this moment is simply to rest, to release, to let go completely, and trust that the songlines will hold you as they have always held everything, as they will always hold everything, in the gentle, infinite embrace of the dreaming. Your breathing has become so slow now, so quiet, that it's barely distinguishable from the breathing of the earth itself. In and out. In and out. The great rhythm that underlies all existence, the tide of life flowing through everything, connecting you to the first breath ever taken and the last breath yet to come, all part of the same endless cycle of being and becoming, of sleeping and waking, of dreaming and returning to the dream. Let yourself sink deeper now into this rhythm, this pattern, this song. Let yourself dissolve into the songlines completely, becoming pure story, pure connection, pure peace. There is nothing you need to hold on to anymore, nothing you need to remember or figure out or understand. Just let it all go. Let it all flow back into the dreaming where it came from. And rest here in the heart of the songlines, in the center of all stories, in the soft and sacred darkness, where every thread of creation weaves together into one infinite tapestry of peace. Peace, peace. The songlines carry you. The dreaming holds you, and you are safe, 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 drifting deeper and deeper into the gentle darkness, into the eternal song. into the place where all paths meet and merge and become one. One breath, one heartbeat, one soft whisper of existence breathing itself to sleep, to sleep, to sleep, in the dreaming, in the songlines, in the infinite, peaceful, sacred darkness, where you are welcome, always welcome, to rest, and rest, and rest. And now the great ancestral spirits begin their gentle return, returning to the earth from which they came, returning to the dreaming from which all things emerge and to which all things must come home. Their work is complete. The world has been sung into being, every river carved, every mountain raised, every star placed with tender care in the velvet darkness above. And now they rest, they return. They become one again with the land they have created, sinking slowly, softly, peacefully back into the sacred earth. You can feel them departing, not leaving, but rather dissolving into everything around you. The Rainbow Serpent who carved the rivers with such grace, she becomes the water itself, becomes the curve of every stream, the whisper of every waterfall. Her immense body softens, melts, transforms into the very essence of flow and movement. And then even that dissolves, becomes stillness, becomes the dreaming once more. The sky spirits who lifted the heavens, who placed each star with such infinite patience, they too are returning. Their forms growing lighter, more transparent, like mist in the first touch of dawn, until they are indistinguishable from the air itself, from the space between stars, from the quiet that holds all sound. They have become the sky, and the sky has become the dreaming, and the dreaming welcomes them home, welcomes them into endless rest. You watch this sacred return with eyes that are almost closed, with a heart that beats slower now, calmer, following the spirits down into the peaceful earth, down into the restful dreaming. There is no sadness in this return, only completion, only the natural cycle of all things, like breath returning after it has been given, like sleep returning after the day has been lived, inevitable, gentle, right. The ancestral beings move through the landscape one last time, not walking now, but drifting like thoughts before sleep, touching the places they created, the sacred sites, the waterholes, the song places. Each touch is a blessing, a final whisper of story. And then they merge with these places, become these places, so that they are never truly gone, never absent, but present in every stone you might rest your hand upon, every tree that offers shade, every star that watches over the sleeping world. And as the spirits return to the dreaming, they leave behind something precious, something eternal. They leave their presence, their essence, woven into the very fabric of existence. You can sense it now, in the warm stone beneath you, holding the memory of the sun, holding the memory of the hands that shaped it, holding the stories of countless generations who have rested here, just as you rest now, in perfect peace. Every element around you is alive with dreaming. The wind that brushes across your skin, it carries the breath of the ancestors, soft, rhythmic, like the breathing of the earth itself. In and out, a lullaby older than memory. This wind knows every path across the land, every songline, every sacred journey, and now it whispers these secrets to you, not in words, but in sensation, in comfort, in the gentle reminder that you are held, always held, by something vast and ancient and infinitely kind. The stars above, each one a spirit returned to the sky, each one watching over the sleeping world with eternal patience. They flicker softly, not with urgency, but with the slow pulse of deep time, time that moves like honey, like the flow of sap in an ancient tree. They have seen everything, and they have seen that all is well, all is as it should be. The night is peaceful. The land is at rest. And you too are exactly where you belong. Beneath the stars, beneath your resting body, deep in the earth. The ancestral spirits settle into their dreaming. Their consciousness spreads through the soil, through the bedrock, through the hidden waters that flow in darkness below. They dream the world into continuance, dream the seasons forward, dream the rain and the sun, dream the cycles that turn and turn in their perfect, unhurried rhythm. And their dreaming is so peaceful, so complete, that you can feel it rising up to meet you, inviting you, welcoming you into that same deep rest. You are not separate from this. You are part of the dreaming now, part of the ancient cycle. Your breath is the wind, your heartbeat is the pulse of the earth. Your thoughts are becoming softer, slower, like clouds dispersing into clear sky. There is nothing you need to hold on to, nothing you need to remember. The dreaming remembers for you, holds everything for you, while you simply let go and rest, and become one with the eternal stillness that surrounds you, that holds you, that welcomes you home. The night deepens, and with it, your rest deepens too. The boundary between waking and dreaming grows softer, more permeable, like mist, like memory. You can no longer quite tell where the ancient dreaming ends and your own dreaming begins. And this confusion is perfect, natural, right? For there has never been a separation, only the illusion of one. And now that illusion dissolves into the darkness that holds all things. The seven sisters continue their eternal dance across the sky, but even their movement seems slower now, as if they too are settling into deeper rest. Their footsteps are so soft, so gentle, barely disturbing the fabric of the night, and where they step, you feel a corresponding gentleness in your own body, a release of tension you didn't even know you were holding. Your shoulders soften, your jaw unclenches. Your fingers unfurl like leaves opening to the sun, except there is no sun now, only starlight, only darkness, only the infinite comfort of the night. The song lines pulse quietly beneath everything, those invisible threads connecting every part of creation. And you realize now that you too are part of this web, connected to every stone, every tree, every creature that has ever rested beneath these stars. Connected to every ancestor who has closed their eyes and surrendered to sleep. Connected to the earth beneath you and the sky above you and the space between your breaths. All of it woven together in one vast, gentle tapestry of existence. And you are a thread in that tapestry, essential, welcomed, at peace. The stories that have been sung tonight, the creation songs, the dreaming songs, they are completing their cycle now, circling back to silence, to the quiet from which all songs emerge. You have traveled through the making of the world, witnessed the shaping of mountains and the placing of stars, walked the song lines with bare feet on sacred ground, and now the journey comes to its natural rest. Not an ending, but a return. A coming home to the place you have always been. And that place is here, in this moment, in this breath, in the softness of surrender. The ancestral spirits are at peace in the earth below. The stars keep their gentle watch above, and you are held between them, cradled by the world, safe, protected, loved by something so ancient and so vast that you can finally, let go of everything, let go of effort, let go of thought, let go of the need to be anywhere other than here. Doing anything other than resting in the dreaming, where all stories live, where all beings belong, where you are always welcome. There is nothing left to do now, nothing left to become, nothing left to seek or strive for. All is complete, all is whole, all is at rest. The creation has been made, and the creators have returned to dreaming. And you are simply a part of this great cycle, this eternal return, this perfect, peaceful completion. Your body has become so heavy, so comfortable, as if you are sinking into the earth itself, becoming one with the land. Your weight is held completely, effortlessly, by something much stronger than you, much older than you. The ground beneath you has held countless sleeping forms, and it holds you now with the same ancient patience, the same unconditional welcome. You don't need to hold yourself anymore, don't need to remain alert or aware. The earth does this for you. The dreaming does this for you, while you simply rest and rest and rest. Your breath is so slow now, so quiet, barely a whisper of movement, in and out, each breath longer than the last, each exhale a little deeper surrender, a little further into the soft darkness. The air moving through you is the same air that moved through the first beings, the ancestral spirits. It carries their peace, their completion, their perfect rest. And as you breathe in that same quality, that same deep, ancient tranquility. Thoughts have almost completely stilled. If one arises, it moves so slowly, so gently, like a leaf floating on still water, and then it dissolves, returns to the silence from which it came. There is no need to follow these thoughts, no need to engage with them. They are simply part of the dreaming, part of the natural flow, and they flow past you, through you, leaving you untouched, undisturbed, resting in a peace that goes deeper than thought, deeper than feeling, all the way down to the bedrock of being itself. The stars are dimming now, not because they are going out, but because your eyes are closing. Gently, naturally, the lids grow heavier, heavier, until it requires no effort at all to let them stay closed. To let the darkness behind your eyelids become the darkness of the dreaming, the sacred darkness where all spirits rest, where all stories sleep until they are needed again. And you sleep there too, sleep in that ancient darkness, held, safe, at peace. The ancestral beings are dreaming you now, dreaming you into rest, dreaming you into peace. Just as they dreamed the world into existence, they now dream you into the deepest, most restorative sleep. It is their gift, their blessing, their gentle hand upon your forehead. You are a part of their creation, a part of their story, and the story they tell now is the simplest one, the oldest one, the story of rest, of peace, of surrender to the eternal, dreaming that holds all things in its vast, loving embrace. Sleep now, sleep deeply, sleep in the dreaming. The stories have been told, the world has been made, the spirits have returned to their eternal rest, and you are part of this now, part of the ancient peace, the timeless stillness, the infinite, gentle darkness. Every stone sleeps, every tree sleeps, every creature sleeps, the whole world is at rest beneath the patient stars, and you rest with it, in it, as it. There is no difference anymore. No separation, only the vast, unified field of peace, only the dreaming, only sleep. The song lines hum so softly now, so quietly that you can barely hear them. They are the sound of the earth breathing, the sound of stars singing, the sound of silence itself, if silence could have a voice. And that voice says only one thing, over and over, in rhythm with your slowing heart. Rest, rest, rest. Sleep, sleep, sleep. Dream, dream, dream. You are welcome here. You have always been welcome here. This is your home, your true home, the place you return to every night. The dreaming that welcomes all beings, all spirits, all travelers back from the waking world. Here there is no effort, no struggle, no need to be anything other than what you are, which is peace itself, rest itself, sleep itself. The ancestral spirits surround you, within you, beneath you. They have become the very substance of rest, and you rest in them, with them, as them. Their ancient peace is your peace. Their deep sleep is your sleep. Their dreaming is your dreaming. All boundaries have dissolved. All distinctions have faded. There is only the one great dreaming, and you are in it, of it. It is in you, of you, inseparable, eternal, at peace. Let go now, completely. There is nothing more to hold, nothing more to carry, nothing more to do, or be, or know. The stars keep watch. The earth holds you. The dreaming enfolds you in its infinite embrace. You are safe. You are loved. You are home. And here, in this sacred space, in this eternal moment, you can finally, completely, utterly surrender to sleep, to peace, to rest. Sleep in the dreaming, dream in the sleeping, rest in the ancient darkness beneath the stars of creation, where all stories begin, where all stories end, where all stories circle back to this, to peace, to stillness, to sleep, deep, 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 sleep, sleep, sleep in the dreaming. Forever welcome, forever home, forever at rest. Thank you for listening tonight. If this story helped you drift off, consider leaving a like and subscribing for more calming stories. Sweet dreams, and I'll see you next time.